Hey, it's me again, coming to you from the camp, sitting on the front porch, chilling a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about serial killers and mass shootings. You know, at one time in this country, you had serial killers like Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Danny Rawlins, John Wayne Gacy. And most of them got a one-way trip to death row. Amongst those, most of them did live long enough to see their sentence carried out. The change in mentality now. We've had mass shootings in our schools. When we had these serial killers, you know, a lot of them seem to target sorority houses. Two that come to mind in particular, in Tallahassee and Gainesville. We had a different mentality in this country. I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind, even those who really didn't support the death penalty. I can't say that they weren't, but they were sad to see them go. Because these were people that were predators. Animalistic, and they can make any excuse for their behavior and their actions that they want to. Ted Bundy blamed pornography. I remember shortly before his execution, he was blaming the reason that he killed all those people was on pornography. The truth of the matter is, back then, I really didn't give a damn why somebody committed an act of violence like that. They needed killing. Some of them were arrested, stood trial, and were convicted, and either spent the rest of their life in prison or were put to death. Some of them didn't go that way. Law enforcement shot them. And I don't have any problem with that. That was when most law enforcement carried a .357 Magnum and tended to be very proficient with it. And one was damn near beat to death by an angry mob when he was exposed. And was lucky the police showed up and took him into custody. Now fast forward to 2018. We have people that go into our schools and our churches and our shopping centers, and they want to shoot the place up. Or maybe they want to drive down the road and hit people with a truck or stab people. Committing murder, the unlawful taking of a life, is murder. Plain and simple. Difference is when we were dealing with serial killers, maybe out of curiosity we try to understand them, but truth of the matter, the end result, we were just happy when they left this world. You know, I know a bunch of us back years ago, whenever they were going to execute Ted Bundy in the electric chair, a bunch of us decided, hell, we'll turn off our lights and everything where the state can have more juice to fry him. Here being a problem. Now the mentality is we try to understand why people commit such acts. And we blame everybody else, you know. Used to, it was very simple. People get pissed off whenever a judge issued a stay of execution or a governor refused to sign a death warrant. We blamed that person for the act they committed. Now with mass shootings, 2018, we've got a bunch of people that are trying to apply reason to unreasonable people, and that just doesn't work. These people may think they have a good reason for shooting up a church or a school. The end result is I don't give a damn why they did it. If somebody commits a crime of that magnitude, they need to leave this world. Now we want to blame the government, the NRA, the gun, the knife, the truck, whatever they choose to use as a means to kill people. We have apparently lost a lot of our grit. And we can't say, looky here, you made a choice, a conscious decision to go in and murder a bunch of people. You got to go. We blame everything else. We won't blame the criminal that commits these acts. Some people try to understand them. That's great if you're understanding it for posterity or something like that. You cannot apply reason to an unreasonable person. When somebody decides they want to commit an act like that, you treat them like a wild dog with rabies. And the proper response to that is they got to go from here. And I'm talking about this world. It means we need a judge and a jury and a state's attorney that'll prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Now, life sentence or death penalty, it really doesn't matter to me. They're going to be leaving prison with a toe tag. I'd just assume go ahead and send them on their way. But instead of us calling evil evil, we want to blame law enforcement. Many of the guys working on the streets and the prison system, working as investigators, and our EMS and firefighters, I'll go ahead and say this for these guys. They do the best job that our politicians let them do. And a lot of times, a lot of good officers are hamstrung because of policies. The truth of the matter, as a society, we're willing to tear down our Constitution, surrender our liberties, so that we feel safe. When a bad man attacks, that's when you need your arms. Okay? People say, well, we just want to ban a certain type of gun. Hey, that may be the one that saves somebody's life. And truth of the matter, guns are an inanimate object. They don't do anything on their own. Yeah, if I had run into one of these shooters, one of these serial killers, if I had the option of having a AK-47 or an AR-15, well, he's going to have a bad day. And I'm not saying that I'm bloodthirsty or I'm looking for a fight. But I do believe I have enough guts left to protect myself and to protect other people from those willing to take multiple human lives. Back at one time, we blamed the criminal, and we held them responsible for their actions. And now, we're willing to give up many of our own rights so we feel safer. And the truth of the matter, we're not any safer. There's always going to be evil in this world. But there's also always going to be good people willing to face it and face it down. People say, well, we need new laws. Hey, we've got laws on the books. It's illegal to murder. It's illegal to attempt to murder. We've got all kinds of laws. I will say this. Texas Death Row does an excellent job of sending people on to hell where they need to be. And surprising, Ohio is doing an excellent job of the same thing. Florida used to do a great job of doing that. Send them on down the road. Let them go meet their maker and plead their case to them, because they've already been found guilty here in man's court. Let's let them face God's. A lot of people are saying, well, we don't need these. Hey, I'm not going to tell you what you need to protect yourself, your home, your family, your loved ones, or anybody else with. But neither am I going to be dictated to about what I can use to protect mine with. we need to go back to an older style mentality where we arrest a criminal, try him, convict him, and carry out the sentence of the court, rather than trying to blame things that in the grand scheme really don't have any bearing on it. Bad men will always commit crimes, sometimes some very heinous crimes. Good men have to be ready to face them and face them down. So, that's what I got to say about that. Later on.